Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. This episode is called Invisible Money. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and follow us. Also, I'd like to tell you about a new service called HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities. So check it out. It's something you can buy for yourself or as a gift for someone you care about. A live celebrity call that's 15 seconds long is $19.95, and a 30-second call is $29.95. There are more than 100 celebrities to choose from, and it's a lot of fun. Give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's get started. There's a growing phenomenon taking place in the US and around the world that is happening as a result of all the civil unrest and political turmoil. It's called invisible wealth, and people of all backgrounds are now accumulating invisible wealth. Whether you're rich, middle class, or poor, a lot of people out there are beginning to hide and conceal their wealth, their assets, and their income. We'll tell you how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and where we see this phenomena going in the future. First, let's begin with why they're doing it. We realize people in all income categories are hiding their wealth and their assets because they see some states and even some countries pushing ultra aggressive tax policies and asset confiscation policies. There are some states like California, which is now preparing to implement a wealth tax that will tax your existing wealth every year. We're not talking about an income tax. We're talking about them going into your savings account and taxing money that you've already paid taxes on in previous years. We're talking about them taxing your house, your car, your jewelry, your plane. Even though you've probably paid a sales tax or other taxes on these things when you purchase them, they want to tax them again every year. And if you move out of the state, then they want to keep taxing you on those things for the next 10 years after you leave the state. Think about that. So here's what's really interesting about this. Most experts will estimate that about half of the nation's economy is comprised of illegal business and dirty money. That means for every dollar of real commerce or legitimate business that's conducted out there, they think there's probably at least another dollar or two in dirty money or illegal business being conducted as well. Now, that is significant because most illegal businesses and criminals pay zero taxes. So let's say you're running a legitimate and honest restaurant and you're trying to do the right thing. And next to you, a restaurant opens up that is really owned and operated by a drug dealer or a criminal organization. And their sole purpose and goal is to launder drug money. Now, the criminal restaurant doesn't really care about making a profit because their location is really all about laundering drug money. They can dramatically lower their prices and drive you out of business, and that's nothing. And there's nothing you can do about that. But since the state you're in is able to collect less and less state taxes, then they will keep raising taxes on legitimate businesses, and that will only drive them into bankruptcy more quickly. So what do? Well, the legitimate business will start cooking their books more aggressively, and they will hide their income so they can survive over time. Now, when that happens, it's only a matter of time before they start paying as little taxes as the crooked restaurant next door. Countless companies and Fortune 500 corporations have been hiding their income for years by manipulating their books. But now this phenomena is much more widespread, and it's spreading to individuals as well as smaller companies. So let's start with individuals and the unique ways they're hiding their money. The first thing we're seeing an awful lot of is pre-divorce and pre-marriage asset concealment. People who think their romantic partner or marital partner may try and grab a lot of their money will often hide it in their mother's name or in a shell corporation offshore or some other mechanism to conceal its whereabouts. The next thing we're seeing, and we hear a lot about, is the use of disposable fake IDs and fake social security cards and numbers. They will buy these IDs and use them for a few months to open fake bank accounts or purchase real estate with. Once they have a bank account in a fake name, then they can start moving money through it. The next thing we're seeing a lot of is people opening up foreign bank accounts to hide their wealth overseas. Now, that seems to be getting more common as well. The next thing we're seeing is a dramatic increase in people and corporations using Bitcoin to hide their wealth. This is where we're seeing the most wealth being hidden these days. It appears that criminals and legitimate everyday people and business owners are putting their money in Bitcoin on a very substantial level. And there are a lot of people secretly moving money into Bitcoin just so they can protect it from divorces or from lawyers looking to beat them in a lawsuit. The next thing we're seeing a lot of is people putting their money into portable and concealable assets like gold and silver coins. This is a fast growing trend as people who don't trust or don't understand cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin would prefer to hide their wealth in something they can take physical possession of, like gold or silver coins. The other thing they love about physical gold or silver is that it can be bought or sold face to face. You don't have to employ an intermediary like a bank or a trading house to buy or sell it. A lot of people prefer to keep their transactions as low key and personal as possible. So the idea of working with an online institution that probably doesn't even have a human being answering a customer service phone number is something that worries a lot of people. Now, the next observation we're making about this growing invisible wealth phenomena is that people have gone from simply distrusting their government and their banks to outright hating them and viewing them with the same contempt and distrust that they view street criminals. It's because of that they desire to move their money and their wealth beyond the reach of these crooked organizations. When governments start grabbing more than half of your income and start taxing your wealth repeatedly year after year, even though they've already taxed it and you moved out of the state, then most people see that as a completely criminal endeavor. Another thing we're seeing more of is people deliberately purchasing businesses that are losing money so they can use them for their own money laundering purposes. So where do we see all this heading? We think it's going to get worse before it gets better. We believe that the level of ingenuity that people and companies will employ to hide their money and their assets in cryptocurrencies will only increase. We also predict that new forms of income and asset concealment will be created by the tech sector and by individual hackers, and that this will only increase the amount of invisible wealth disappearing out there. A lot of what happens over the next 12 months politically will determine how fast this invisible wealth phenomena grows. The more unstable and untrustworthy the political landscape becomes, the more distrusting people and companies will become when it comes to allowing others to see and track their income and their wealth. The amount of individual and governmental predatory behavior out there is now exploding. The number of fake and opportunistic lawsuits being filed against people and companies is skyrocketing. And if that wasn't bad enough, we're now seeing an explosion of irrational, strange, and non-legal court decisions against people and companies that make no sense at all and have no connection to the written law. This is causing more and more people to avoid the court system at all costs. With that, I want to thank you for watching and tell you we're going to have some great celebrity interviews coming up, and we're going to have some major breaking news stories in the very near future. So we want to encourage you to subscribe to your channel and click on the notification bell so you get notified every time we post a story. We'll see you soon. Thank you.